All right, my people, gather close because what we are about to expose tonight is not just another headline. This is a terrifying reminder that Nigeria is sitting on a ticking time bomb. What happened this evening in Kwara State is not normal, it is not random, and it is not something we can sweep under the carpet. And if you stay with me till the end, I'm going to show you exactly why this attack is more dangerous than what many people think. Before we go deep, make sure you like and subscribe because what we're about to unpack will expose layers that the mainstream media will never touch. Now let's get into it. This evening, Eruku town in the Ekiti local government area of Kwara State went through hell. A group of heavily armed terrorists stormed a branch of the Christ Apostolic Church during a meeting. They didn't negotiate. They didn't threaten. They didn't issue any warning. They opened fire immediately. 3 worshippers died on the spot. 3 innocent people who woke up this morning planning to go to church, pray, and return home safely. Gone. And before anyone could understand what was happening, before the screams even settled, the attackers grabbed several worshippers, including the pastor, and dragged them into the bush. Nobody knows how many. Nobody knows where they were taken. Nobody knows if they are alive. Eyewitnesses said the whole thing happened in seconds. Like these people came with a clear mission and a clear escape plan. They moved through bush paths that connect Eruku to neighboring communities, completely undetected, with zero resistance. Let that sink in. Zero resistance. Earlier in the day, Sahara reporters had already issued a warning. Terrorists were moving through Kwara communities with guns, firing sporadically, and residents were running into bushes to save their lives. Vehicles abandoned, roads emptied, people shouting for help. We even saw a video from a terrified traveler hiding in the bush, shaking, whispering for help, with gunshots echoing behind him. You could hear the fear in his voice. He kept saying, "Please come to our rescue. We are in trouble." My people, do you know how bad a situation must be for a grown adult to hide in the bush while whispering for help, knowing any noise could give him away? That is not insecurity. That is terror. That is a failed security response. That is a state under siege. And as I'm speaking to you now, there is still no official reaction from the Kwara State Police Command. No statement from the state government, no reassurance, no address, nothing. Nigerians are left to piece this story together from scattered videos, eyewitness reports, and social media panic. This is where things get serious. Let's talk about the pattern, because what is happening in Kwara is part of a much bigger issue that the government has been trying to downplay for years. These terrorists are no longer operating only in the northeast or the deep bush areas. They are expanding into new territories, broad daylight attacks in communities that used to be peaceful, coordinated assaults with escape routes planned, bold enough to raid churches, kidnap pastors, and walk away untouched. And when incidents like this happen, the question on everyone's mind is always the same. Where are the security agencies? Why is no one responding? How can gunmen enter a town, shoot for minutes, kidnaps people, move from community to community and not meet a single roadblock, a single patrol team, a single counterforce? Nigeria is becoming a country where people are crying for help, but help is no longer coming. But let me show you something even deeper. These terrorists are no longer attacking only farms and highways. They are now attacking churches. Remember, this is coming at a time when Nigeria is already under global scrutiny over claims of attacks against Christians. This is coming when international journalists, human rights groups, and even foreign governments are already watching Nigeria closely. And then this happens. A coordinated attack on a Christian church in a state that was not even previously considered a hotbed of terrorism. Do you understand the geopolitical implications of this? This is the exact kind of incident that foreign powers use as evidence. This is the kind of attack that feeds into global investigations. This is the kind of event that shapes international narratives. And now we have a whole church attacked, worshippers killed, pastor abducted, residents fleeing into bushes, communities silent and terrified, and the government quiet. Those dots are not hard for the world to connect. Now let's go deeper. Kwara State is not where you expect this level of attack. This means Nigeria's security breakdown is expanding like wildfire. And if these terrorists successfully establish corridors in Kwara, which is close to major roads leading to Abuja, Kogi, Niger, Oyo, and the southwest, the entire region becomes vulnerable. This is how insurgencies spread. This is how countries collapse from within. This is how terrorists carve out territories when no one stops them early. And as usual, it is the poor, innocent citizens who pay with their lives. My people, stay with me because there's still a lot to unpack about this attack, the motive, the timing, the implications, and what this could trigger in the coming days if the government fails to act. Let's settle down and finish this breakdown properly, because what happened in Kwara State is not an isolated attack. It is a signal A warning, a blueprint of what may come if Nigerians continue to live under a government that reacts after the damage has been done instead of preventing it. When terrorists enter a church, open fire, kill people instantly, and walk away without meeting resistance, that is not just an attack. That is a message. A message to the community, a message to the state, a message to the whole country. They are saying, we can come anytime, anywhere, and nobody will stop us. And the silence from the authorities tells its own story. No emergency press briefing, no immediate security deployment, no reassurance to the people, nothing. And that silence eats into the soul of ordinary Nigerians. It tells them they are on their own. It tells them that when danger comes, they should run into the bush and pray. It tells them that the people who are supposed to protect them have already failed before even showing up. The pattern we're seeing now is frightening. Terrorists attack. Communities scream. Videos trend. Governments stay silent. Lives move on until the next attack. How do we expect a nation to function like this? Now let's talk about the fact that this attack happened in a church. That means the terrorists are shifting their targets from farms and highways into houses of worship. Once a terrorist group starts to attack religious institutions, the country enters a very dangerous stage, because attacks like these can easily trigger ethnic and religious tensions if not properly handled. And guess what? The terrorists know that. They know that attacking churches draws global attention. They know that international bodies will start asking questions. They know that foreign governments will react. They know that local tensions will rise. This is not random violence. This is calculated destabilization. Think about the timing. Think about the boldness. Think about the location. Think about the lack of response. Everything about this incident shows that the terrorists walking across Nigerian communities have become comfortable. Too comfortable. They are moving from state to state like they own the land. And the most dangerous part is this. Communities are now facing terror without any form of local or federal protection. People abandon their cars. People run into bushes. Families hide in darkness. Residents say they are hearing gunshots from different directions. And still, no security presence. Let's be honest. We cannot keep pretending this is normal. We cannot keep acting like this level of insecurity is something Nigerians must adjust to. We cannot accept that a whole state can be overrun while those in charge remain quiet. What happened in Kwara is a direct challenge to the government. And right now, the response is missing. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. This attack exposes three major cracks in Nigeria's security system. One, the collapse of early warning intelligence. These terrorists didn't appear out of thin air. They moved into Kwara through known paths. People saw them. People heard gunshots. Some even fled hours before the church attack, yet nobody intercepted them. That means intelligence either failed or was ignored. Two, the complete absence of rapid response. A coordinated attack went on long enough for people to hide, record videos, post online, send voice notes, run into bushes, and still no team arrived. That is not poor response. That is no response. 3. The terrorists' growing confidence. When criminals fire openly, kill, abduct, and walk away untouched, they return the next week. They return the next month. They expand territory. They become landlords of fear. This is how insurgencies spread. And I want you to think about this. Kwara is not far from Abuja. Kwara connects to Niger State. Kwara connects to Kogi. Kwara connects to Oyo and Osun. This is a strategic location. If terrorists secure a route there, they gain access to the north central and the southwest. Do you see how dangerous this is? And if the government fails to act now, these same groups will push deeper and deeper until the terror becomes routine. Let me tell you why this attack feels different. The videos from the scene show panic, confusion, and the kind of desperation Nigerians haven't seen in that region before. You could hear the hopelessness in the voices of those recording. People were asking for help, not from government, but from God. This is the kind of environment where fear grows. This is how communities lose trust in the government. This is how people start taking laws into their own hands. This is how darkness spreads. The sad truth is that Nigerians no longer expect safety, only survival. Now, where does this leave us? The government must respond immediately. The security agencies cannot pretend this never happened. This attack must not be swept under the carpet, because if the terrorists who did this return tomorrow, and they will, that community will have nothing to protect them. And if nothing changes, this same pattern will begin to spread to more states. I'd love to hear your thoughts using the comment section below.
Have you noticed that ever since the United States of America designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern and categorizing Nigeria as having genocidal intents towards Christians in Nigeria, rather than us to see a sharp response or positive response towards that description, it appears the unalivings and the kidnappings and the genocidal resolve is even far worse than it is before now. Generals have been beheaded, pastors have been beheaded. In fact, communities are very recently. I heard 25 schoolgirls were kidnapped. So what exactly is going on? What is the end game here? What is actually playing out? Remember, I said some time ago, could it be that Tinubu and the Fulani oligarchs, was there an agreement entered into? Because Tinubu has been very, very passive and nonchalant about the unalivings of the citizens of this country, Christians in particular. Please let no one downplay the fact that the intent or the intention or the emphasis is on Christians. I will not be too politically correct not to draw attention to that fact. So what exactly is the gameplay? Because I like to think, I have a burdened brain that, that wants to exercise its thinking capacity. That is. What exactly is going on? Why is it that after America issued a threat of coming to Nigeria to save Christians, we expect that these radical Muslims will, sheath their swords, but rather than do so, it's like they have intensified their resolve to even slaughter more Christians, more kidnappings, and more unalivings. What is exactly the end game here? Here is what I think. I think actually these people, they want America to bring the war to them. They want America to bring the war to them. That is what I see. So what happens if America brings the war to them? So what happens if America brings the war to Nigeria? What is the end game here? Because one thing I've respected these northern massacres or these bloodthirsty northern extremists is that they think. They really do think. So what exactly is the gameplay here? Here is what I think. I think they want America to come. Let's not forget that they don't value their lives. They don't. I've been in Jos here. I've seen countless of suicide. But if they tell me in this my lifetime that I will witness Nigerians engage in suicide bombing but I saw it with my naked eyes. The one I particularly saw was in a church. The man drove in with a car, Toyota, one of these small Toyota one-door car. The car was laced with explosive, and he was smiling. When they asked him, "What did you come to do?" People went to the car. "What did you come?" He was smiling. When they saw that he was a Hausa man, the way he was dressed, he dressed very cleanly, but he was smiling. People started running, and before they run, as if those who ran, they knew exactly what was happening. He detonated the car. That's how the car exploded. The church collapsed. The church collapsed on everybody in the church. Luckily, by the grace of God, nobody got injured. It was only one elderly man who was very elderly, about 70-something-year-old man. He didn't even pass on on the spot. It was later in the hospital. After 3 days, he passed on out of injuries the body could not sustain. So these are people that are willing to die. So if they are asking America to bring the war to them, they have declared a jihad. And anybody who dies in a jihad is going to visit 72 virgins. I mean, imagine a world of 1 million people. If 1 million men dies and go to heaven, their heaven, 72 virgins, that means 72 million virgins. In fact, I don't want to go there. But I think these people are not ready. They've never loved this country. They've never want this country to grow. Suppose everybody is a Muslim in this country. What does it bring? What does it benefit? What does it bring? What does it bring? Everybody hits their head on the ground and leave black patches on their forehead. What does it bring? I thought religion is supposed to mold human being into perfection. But this type of religion being practiced in Nigeria is molding people into murderous animals. Depraved people that has brains that are not developed yet. Well, I want to tell you from the South, you from the Southeast, you from the Middle Belt, you that's a Christian. If you think you are going to be crying and complaining and shouting and praying and believing that God is going to help you, you are going to die. Your life will just be short-lived. You have to be prepared to defend yourself. This is a country whereby we are told that even if you defend yourself and you succeeded in unaliving those that have come to unalive you, you will still be unalived. Can you beat that? Can you beat that? A general was unalived. A pastor was unalive, and Khan is doing nothing. No protest. The big men of God who have chopped too much tithe are not talking. So if you think that this government has your interest at heart, you are going to die at the age of 40. You are going to be short-lived very soon. So you better prepared. You better prepared for the worst and be ready to defend yourself. Be ready to defend yourself. If you are still here debating about Tinubu is savior, that like all these stupid, some of these stupid Yoruba people that comes to comment on my page, you not go better for now. I'm telling you the truth. Tinubu has failed woefully. Tinubu is not in control. Tinubu is not in charge. Tinubu is not in charge of this country at all. He has failed. This is the worst. This is the worst president I've ever seen since Nigeria has come into being. Well, we shall wait and see. But I believe that these people are spoiled, are ready for war. Are you? Are you?
You see, Ba, if we must tell ourselves the truth, the fact is, you see, these radical elements are actually trying to replicate the Afghanistan model. That is for sure. But you see, funny enough, a lot of people don't actually see the game at play here. And because people don't take their time, don't take things because I said it. Just take your time, go and make your research. How was Afghanistan conquered? Take a good look at the elements, the modus operandi that was required to conquer it, and you will get to see that almost everything is in place as far as Nigeria is concerned at the moment. But you see, funny enough, the people I pity most, in short, I pity all of us. I pity people that think it doesn't concern them. I pity the innocent and the good-hearted Muslims. And I pity people that thinks that this is all about politics. And that is why they are downplaying the fact that there is no genocide in Nigeria. If you take your time, go to Wiki, read the Afghanistan model, how it was conquered, everything, and you will get to see these things I'm saying. You see, one of the major attributes you should know with people, these radical, fanatic individuals, is the fact that they are very patient. Just like you know, conquering Afghanistan took centuries. They are very patient. And Let's talk about what is happening in Nigeria now. Did it just start happening today? It didn't happen. It didn't just start happening today. If we were to start counting, we'll even go back to the possibly 80s, 60s, 70s, and the rest of it. And that is how it all goes. And that is why you have a cleric scholar now running around trying to buy them time, trying to tell them to lower their arms because the team be like say it won't cast. And that is why he's trying to say, okay, let's dialogue with these people, let's negotiate with them. The fact is, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to buy time. When the tension is down, then they continue. And don't think that it's just even all about the unaliving, that the whole thing is all about. When you look at the Afghan model, you will get to see that a lot of administrative works, a lot of things were put in place on the administrative part and on the political part, that at the end of the day, there will be a general point of convergence in regards the violence and the administrative work that has been put in place. And that is why you see the worst you can ever talk in regards to this situation is when you talk about Sharia and why are they trying to enforce Sharia in Nigeria. And they tell you that no, it doesn't concern Christians, it's not Christians, it's just for Muslims or whatever. The good Muslims actually don't see sense in that. But the fact is, just like Afghanistan now, it didn't happen all of a sudden. It happens just the way it's starting now. It starts small. But all of a sudden, when you finally get to that general point of convergence, the administrative aspect of it has been done, and the radical, the unaliving aspect of it now finally meets. Now is now fully blown, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. So I pity people when they come out and try to downplay the existence of genocide in Nigeria. It's very funny. Some actually feel it's political, and that is why they have to take a political stand. But some actually see it as an attack out of ignorance on religion, to be more specific, Islamic religion. But the fact is, I will still refer you back to the Afghan model. The Afghan model now haven't been accepted or considered at a point in time that this is a general reflection of what Islam want or what most Islams want. But when the whole thing was achieved, sects now begin fighting each other. So it now became a situation where there is a particular sect. If you read the Afghan story, you see that there's a major sect that dominates the whole thing now. You have them at 90%, that sect. You have another sect at 10%. And let's look at what is happening in Nigeria today. It's just unfortunate that the sect fight is already happening when it's not supposed to be happening. That is why you see a lot of people like fighting, despite the fact that they are of the same religion. A lot are already in prison, like them Abdul Jabal, because his stand is against a particular sect or whatever, and in regards the fact that the government doesn't. So generally, at the end of the day, if you think what you are doing is you are fighting for your religion, at the end of the day, you must belong to the right sect at the end of the day that will take over power. Because by the time you oppose the sect that will come to take over power, you will now become a victim. You will have to run just like any other army or any other pagan worshipper that you think. So, but the fact is, at this point in time, seriously, I doubt if there's anything reasonable the government can do. Because despite the fact that these situations are obvious, government is still more interested in politics than reality. And the fact is, there's a systemic decay as well. Systemic decay has resulted into incapacitating the military, in the sense that monies that were supposed to use to equip the military for decades has been embezzled. And as a result of that, the radicals have a comparative advantage in regards their fight. And that is why the fight is endless. And in regards somebody picking offense when they say there's Christian genocide and you say there's none or whatever, it will soon clear you. It will soon clear you. Of a truth, everybody is a target. But the fact is, you can't rule out Christian genocide in all these things. And do you know why everybody is a target? Because the sects, I'm not the one saying this, check this. The sects that are the major proponents of this actually sees other sects as infidels. So it's not about that you're of the same religion, you need to be of the same sect with them. But the fact is, I just feel there's no gain in denying the fact that we need help. We need help in all aspects. Because the fact is, nothing, absolutely nothing. I don't see the government overcoming this at any point in time. And the fact is, when you marry all these things to the high level of ignorance and the likes of the Malam Yachi, you will now know that we're in soup. But at the end of the day, if you like, keep countering. Let them sponsor you. think that you are doing the work of God or you're trying to protect your religion. But when you stop finally, when it has fully blown, you will now know, and at that point in time, it will be very late for you to cry.